Well, it looks like it is all but official. Will the new Dungeons & Dragons setting be Dark Sun, Planescape, Eberron, or Dragonlance? The answer is none of the above. It looks like we are officially getting Ravnica. Yes, the new Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition setting will be Ravnica from the Magic the Gathering universe. Releasing November 20th of this year will be the Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica. Now, while this might disappoint some hoping for their favorite setting to get some 5th edition love, I'm pleasantly surprised to see Wizards of the Coast make a move like this for a few reasons. First, considering that there have already been multiple books released for all of those other settings, it's nice to see something completely new from Wizards here. Though I will admit, I think it creates a tiny bit of a generational gap in the community, as I find it hard to believe that newer players would be terribly excited about picking up older PDFs and trying to convert that material to 5th edition. But still, for older players who already have shelves full of Dragonlance and Dark Sun, I think it's nice to see a product being offered that will be completely new to them. And secondly, I'm excited to see another D&D crossover with Wizards' flagship product, Magic the Gathering. And for those of you who may not realize it, Magic is definitely the flagship product for Wizards of the Coast. It dwarfs D&D in revenue, and the last time that I saw the numbers, it really wasn't even close. I think that this is really good news for us role players because it signals that Wizards of the Coast is looking to Dungeons & Dragons to increase profitability, trying to lure in that massive Magic the Gathering community and bring them over to a second product line in D&D. I think that this is a huge positive that Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast are seeing D&D as perhaps more than just Magic's little brother, and hopefully it will lead to even more staff growth and well-polished products being offered, especially after having the entire Wizards of the Coast D&D team reduced to just 8 people back in late 2014. But enough about the business behind the new setting. Let's dive into Ravnica and talk a bit about what it is and perhaps what we should be looking for in this new book. Okay, what is Ravnica? Is it a plane? Is it a city? Well, really, it's kind of both. In essence, it's a plane whose entire surface is covered by the Great City. For you Star Wars fans, think Coruscant. Ravnica is a beautiful, sprawling metropolis of Gothic architecture, but what really defines Ravnica more than anything is its collection of 10 guilds. These 10 guilds are a perfect balance of mana and ideals that both despise each other and rely on each other to maintain balance through the magically binding Guild Pact. For those of you who might be unfamiliar with the 5 mana colors of Magic, they are white, typically associated with life and law, blue, typically associated with magic, engineering, and of course, water, green, which usually represents nature, black, typically associated with death and undeath, and red, representing fire and fury. However, each guild in Ravnica takes on 2 colors, creating that perfectly balanced wheel of mana and ideals. The first is the white and blue Azorius Senate, known as the High Judges. The Azorius Senate believe that they are responsible for maintaining the Guild Pact, and thus keeping the Great City from descending into utter chaos. They believe in the rule of law above all else, even if the justice that law brings is blind to circumstance. Next up is the green-blue Simic Combine. The Simics are scientists, originally tasked with preserving Ravnica's ecosystem, a task at which they completely failed, instead choosing to alter its animal and plant life, creating new species in the image that they believe would be, quite subjectively, better. This has led to the creation of many mutated species all across Ravnica. After that, we have the green-white Celestia Conclave. The Celestia Conclave represents either a selfless, nurturing, spiritual group, or a brainwashing nature cult, depending on who you ask. The Celestians believe that the only forms of life worth protecting are those of a natural creation and nothing else. Next up is the Blue-Red Izzet League, led by the legendary dragon wizard Niv Mizzet. Niv Mizzet is probably capable of ruling Ravnica if he so chose to, but he's content with his station so as not to be drawn into the monotony of ruling the entire city. He is, at his heart, a brilliant engineer, and his guild is in charge of attending to Ravnica's civic works, building out the water systems, roadways, sewers, etc. After that, we have the Red-White Boros Legion, which is the guild of militaristic law. Similar to the Azorius Senate in their adherence to law, the Boros Legion are much more zealous in the justice that they deal out. Whereas the Azorius Senate despises action and follows the law to the letter, the Boros Legion prefers to take action and follow the spirit of the law, as they are much more impassioned in its defense. Anyone who disagrees with the Boros Legion is an enemy of the Boros Legion. Next up is the Black-White Orzhov Syndicate, ruled by the Obzedet, a council of ghostly autocrats who have maintained their wealth and power even as they've shed their mortal forms. The members of the Obzedet are often called the Deathless, and for those who might owe the Syndicate money, even death doesn't release them from their debts. After that is the Blueblack House Dimir. House Dimir deals in secrets, plotting, and manipulative. Their core focus is opposing the Guild Pact. In fact, their original leader in Perrin, the ancient vampire Zadok, plunged Ravnica into temporary chaos when his 10,000-year plan to trick a member of the Boros Legion into arresting him and thus breaking the Guild Pact came to fruition. While the new Guild Pact has been in place for some time now, House Dimir, under new leadership, is as active as ever in their schemes and plans. Then there is the red-green Gruel clans, made up of cyclopes, centaurs, elementals, giants, goblins, humans, trolls, and more. The Gruel clans originally entered into the Guild Pact in order to prevent the great city from expanding even further into the wilds beyond, which is their domain. The Gruel have a hard time gaining respect from the other guilds, as their territory is but a fragment of what it once was, and the guild itself is fragmented into smaller clans, often referred to as the guild which is not one. Next up, there is the Black-Red Cult of Rakdos, named after the demon lord Rakdos. Go figure. The Rakdos believe in one's own pleasure above all else, even official guild business. The cult is headed by Lizolda the Blood Witch, and from time to time they go on killing sprees in their murder houses. Formally, the guild has no structure and is not organized. However, members are affiliated with loose groups called rings, each of which is led by a ringmaster and with its own sphere of influence. And finally, we have the green-black Golgari Swarm. The swarm is made up of Ravnica's topmost necromancers and believe that only through death is life possible. While it might be surprising to find out that the Golgari Swarm is responsible for feeding the poor of Ravnica with a fungus grown underground and fertilized by the dead and even excrement, they actually take great pride in what they do, eager to prove that they are, at heart, dedicated to life. Let's jump quickly into the creatures and races, and then we can look at what we might expect to see in Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica. First up, we have the tall, thin, hairless, blue-skinned humanoid race, the Vedalken. The Vedalken are intelligent and stoic, and you can think of them sort of like the Vulcan from Star Trek with their logical and emotionless demeanor. The Vedalken favor the Simic Combined and Azorius Senate, making for great artificers and biomancers. Then there are the Goblins, who are quite numerous in Ravnica. And unlike the Forgotten Realms, Goblins in Ravnica vary significantly in demeanor, with some joining the Boros Legion as foot soldiers, some taking up with the Gruel and Rakdos, and many others who take up assistant jobs for the Izzet League, though they are still largely associated with their own goblin clans. Then of course we have the many zombies of Ravnica. The Golgari Swarm naturally relies heavily on zombies for the plentiful manual labor, and the Rakdos keep numerous zombies nearby but instead arm them with spikes, metal teeth, and other torturing implants. I very much doubt zombies would be a playable race, but since they are such a unique common sight to Ravnica, I thought that they were worth mentioning. Then there are the Weirds, which are sort of elementals fused by two wildly opposing mana energies. Again, I doubt that these will be a playable race. Next up are the Angels. Angels follow a few different paths here in Ravnica. First, there are the militaristic Boros Angels, powerful and dedicated to the Legion's ideals. Then there are the Angels that belong to the Orzhov Syndicate, also called the Angels of Despair. And finally, there are the Unguided Angels, dedicated to protecting the guildless here in the Great City. Then there are the Crassus, or really the name given to the group of mutated beings throughout the city plane, from the Drakewing Crassus to the Battering Crassus. These are the collection of creatures bioengineered by the Simics. Then, of course, there are the Humans. I don't think these need expanding on. It's humans, followed by the Elves, Dryads, Vampires, Trolls, Minotaur, Merfolk, and the Viashino, a lizard-like descendant who take up with numerous guilds themselves. Okay, so what should we expect to see in Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica? First off, I find it very interesting that Wizards will release an entire setting so closely related in feel to the upcoming Dragon Heist with Waterdeep, just right back to back. And perhaps maybe that was the reason that we also got Dungeon of the Mad Mage at practically the same time. But that being said, I do expect a lot of tables and charts for Dungeon Masters and Game Masters for running large-scale city games, as well as I think we'll get plenty of inspiration for politically themed games. While Wizards of the Coast touched on politics in Storm King's Thunder, I feel like that was much more inner court politics, and it wasn't really a toolbox for DMs, so I'm expecting Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica to be just that. There will hopefully be plenty in there for DMs that will be usable in any setting. Also, Chris Perkins has said many times that Wizards of the Coast is looking to tell a story with all of their books in D&D 5e. So that makes me think that even though this won't be an adventure campaign, I'm expecting the status quo in Ravnica to have changed in some way to allow Dungeon Masters the freedom to tell their own stories and explore the world of Ravnica. Perhaps we might even get a new Guild Pact, or perhaps we might be thrown into a world without one at all. With their previous jaunt into the universe of Magic the Gathering, Wizards already gave us goblins, core, vampires, and merfolk. So I expect this book to similarly get 4 to 5 new playable races, and maybe even a reprint of some of the races from that Zendikar supplement, just so that they can make it into an official print book. As for Wizards' strategy in making their books both appealing to DMs and players, even with the title of Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica, I'd expect that the Artificer will be making its way into this book, and maybe we'll even get a few class archetypes as well. It'd be really great to see something like a Biomancer, or maybe something else that we haven't even seen hinted at in Unearthed Arcana, giving us a nice little surprise here. But as much as Wizards has done with Unearthed Arcana to playtest before something goes into print, I'm not really expecting that. I do, however, expect some new spells in this book, and I'm really hopeful for some new magic items as well. Something with a strong Ravnica flavoring to really broaden the appeal of the book and give players reasons to grab themselves a copy. Especially with D&D Beyond's capabilities to piece out just parts of a book for players, I think that that would make a lot of sense here. So now I want to pass it over to you guys in the community. What do you guys think? Are you excited? Are you disappointed? Maybe a bit of both. Is this a setting that you and your group will be interested in? And how do you feel about Wizards diving further into Magic's lore? Is this a good business decision, or do you think that they should have just given us a traditional setting like Eberron or maybe even Dragonlance? By the way, down in the description below, I've posted a few links to several new product lines that Wizards will be offering with this new settings release, including some maps and a new dice set if you guys want to go check them out for yourselves. I want to give a huge shout out to all of the kick-ass patrons over at welcomeadventures.com. It's because of you guys that I can continue making videos like this, and I love doing it. So if you like this video, you want to see more content like this while grabbing some rewards for yourself, head over to welcomeadventures.com. It's a great way to support the channel. If this is your first time here and you love role-playing games as much as I do, I'd love to have you subscribe. Every week I put out new videos on GM tips, player tips, tutorials, and more. So if that sounds like something you might be interested in, just hit that subscribe button down below and come join us. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Cody, and may your games be filled with awesome memories and even better friends. I'll catch you guys next time.
Yeah.